Morning, YouTubers. Thanks for watching. Hey, today we're tearing into a moen shower mixing valve. I have a drip in my shower. Let me show you what it looks like. Been dripping for a couple of days. The wife's on me to fix it. So anyways, I thought today that I would work on trying to get that fixed, and I'm going to run into some problems. I'm going to show you how to get out of them. So give me a few minutes. My mixing valve kind of looks like this. It's a moen positive mixing valve. I've already turned the water off. Now I'm going to drain it down out of the house. I've turned the water off outside, so give me a few seconds and we put it on pause. Okay guys, I'm back. Here's some of the tools you might need to try to change out the moen mixing valve for a shower. Let me show some of those to you. I have a little bit of penetrating oil here, which, hey guys, an afterthought on this is spray some of this on the small little Allen screw you have to remove on your handle. Let it sit there for about 10 minutes. It makes it coming out a whole lot easier. Some of the other tools, I have the typical needle nose pliers. I actually went to Home Depot and bought this replacement shower cartridge. It's about 35 bucks to replace the whole entire unit. And today, in the past, I've always replaced the whole unit, but then I realized that they also sell a rebuild kit. If the mechanical part is fine and you just have to replace the O-rings and stuff in it, this here is only about 10 bucks. So it'll save you some money doing that if the rest of your deal is good. I went ahead and bought both just because when you get in there, you want to have one or the other. So in case this cartridge here is bad, then you can just change it out. But if the other cartridge is still mechanically pretty good, the physical part of it, then all you got to do is replace the O-ring kit. Something else is your Allen screw. There's some silicone grease here. The silicone grease you have to have this silicone grease. It costs about $3 at Home Depot. You have to have that to grease up all the O-rings when you put it back in. Regular grease will not work, so spend the money to use this. I also have my drill, some drill bits. I'm going to kind of show you what I did. I did not use the penetrating oil before I did this, and I got into a bind. That's the main reason I'm doing the video today, is to show you guys how to get out of the bind. But anyways, I went online and bought this. There's another component on the moen mixing valve. It's right here. You can get it on Amazon, and it's also around $8 or $10 delivered. And I actually got Amazon Prime to the house in a day. So once I get into it, you'll see where it goes. It's right inside of the handle, so it's all plastic, but it's the original replacement part. I have a few assorted drill bits, as well as my drill out here, so I'll be using all that in a minute. So let me show you what I did. Got in here, you can see here, that's the mixing valve. Use this little hex key, and you go down on the inside of it, and you loosen the handle off to get it off. Guys, I actually broke the small little hex bolt off that goes in there. So now there is no way at all for me to be able to get this off without destroying it in some form or fashion. That's why I bought the other part. But anyways, right here is where you put the penetrating oil. And I actually did some more in the house. So spray a little bit of penetrating oil in there, and that thing will come out real easy for you next time. Let me show you where I'm going to go with it next. This right here is the head of the bolt that I broke off in the handle, and that's the main reason I'm doing the video, is to show you guys how to get into that. I don't know how well you can see that down in there, but right down in there is a broke off bolt. And what I plan on doing is taking a drill and drilling down in there to destroy the plastic part so I can pull this off. Okay, so I've got a 1/4 inch bit on my drill, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down inside of here and try to tap out that plastic. Okay, now I'm going to go back in with a little bit smaller bit. Okay, I've got my smaller bit so I can get around it a little bit more. Okay guys, I've got it out. Just sit down, you can look at that. You can kind of see what I did. I drilled out around the outside edge, and then it finally broke right here. So the inside of what I'm looking at is right here. If you'll notice, that bolt's broke off. It doesn't hold much, so once you get in there, you can get a pair of pliers and probably get it out and reuse it. So anyway, just went from the top, drilled down through it, drilled all the way around that part to where it finally just broke out and it come out right here. So now I can actually get in and replace this part here without having to replace this handle. This handle I looked all over line. I could not find it anywhere. It's a tough part to find. So especially in the oil rub bronze. So anyways, let me get this plastic part out of the way and we'll start changing the whole mixing valve. Okay, now we'll just start changing out the mixing valve part, which all you need is a regular Phillips head. You can see right there, just a Phillips head connection. At this point here, it's pretty simple. Just follow your instructions on how to change it out, which I'm kind of walking you through that. Just be one bolt, kind of line everything up back like it was when you put it back in there. One bolt. Oops, filling around. So that's what it all kind of looks like right here. So lay that out. Here you've got 1, 2 bolts. You got to come out. Let me get those out real quick. Okay, I pulled out all the surround on all this stuff. You can see there's a face plate right there. It's really easy to come out. Then you have this other keeper thing that comes out. All this is all the series. So if you just remember how it goes back in there, it's not that big a deal. Let me show you what it looks like now. You've exposed the whole mixing valve here. This point here, like I said, guys, you've got to have the water off to your whole house, because if you don't, and you remove this, you will have water all over the place. I've actually replaced this one here once before. And actually what I like to do is sometimes, if it's your house, sometimes this part right here is cut in really tight. So you might have to take something and knock away some of the drywall around the back to be able to get this cotter pin thing out to pull the valve. So if you're real tight, you don't have enough room to pull it out, you might have to chip some stuff away around the inside to make it work. I actually like to take and I'll get a rag, and I put a rag in between all this, because if you drop this between your wall and down there, you'll have to go to the Home Depot or wherever you might be to get another one of these pins to hold the cartridge in there. So I always stuff something behind the back, and you'll see that in a few minutes and when I pull the valve. Okay guys, I'm back. You can tell I went back and I stuffed a towel all the way around this mixing valve to avoid this little pin being lost in there. So hopefully you got enough space, but it's real easy. You also notice it right here. I put the stainless bolt back in there, because sell a special tool to pull these things with, but you don't necessarily have to have one. You can do it with a large tip screwdriver or a pry bar. But let me pull the pin out so I can show you how that works. You just go right here at the top, and it should pull straight up. See how that pulls up? And like I said, just use some care when you're pulling it out. In whammo, that's what it looks like. Okay guys, you can see now I've actually put a board to pry it against, a 2x4. And you see I've got a flat tip screwdriver right there against the top of it. And what I'll do is I'll begin to pry it out. See how it starts to pull? And you're going to get a little bit of water drain from that because there's just a little bit in there from the shower. But see, now that I've got it halfway loose, once you get to this point here, you can probably just get a pair of pliers and pull it out, and I'll do that next. Okay, this is what the cartridge looks like when you start to pull it out. And like I said, you'll just pull it out, bingo. That's it. That thing there looks like mechanical end is pretty good. Sometimes you might see some like pieces of solder or pieces of metal, or maybe even some of the plastic is broke on it. But this looks to be in pretty decent shape. So we're going to try the rebuild kit on it. So let me get it out of here and get it on a flat surface so I can be sure how it all goes. Okay, here's the cartridge pulled out, and I've taken the rebuild kit out of the carton. There's always a bunch of extra parts. You just have to line up with what you have. So I'm going to take the O-rings out and these two side pieces and replace them with the replacement parts now. Okay guys, here's the cartridge. You have to replace the top O-ring, the big ones that my fingers are on right here, the big kind of rectangular looking ones. And then this whole stem has to be pushed out, and there's internal O-rings on this here. So you got to take and you got to push this out the bottom of there. Okay guys, got it all apart now. You can see there's the cartridge, and here is the part that come out of the center. Be careful with that because I think I might have chipped one spot there in the middle, but I'm going to try to use the kit and see if it still works. There's one little cracked part, but I don't think it's really all that important, so we're going to try it. If not, I'll just change the whole stem. Okay guys, here's the cartridge rebuilt. I put 3 O-rings in it, 4 O-rings. Now I'm going to grease it down, all the O-rings with some of that silicone grease. You see I put a generous amount of that grease all on there, and I'll just take my finger and I'll rub all that around there, just kind of like buttering toast, so to speak, with it. Then I'll put it back in the cartridge. Okay, I've got it started back in the cartridge. A lot of grease on it. Just take your time when you run it back in there so you don't pinch any of the O-rings. Okay guys, I've got the cartridge assembly back together, and again I put a lot of that silicone grease around it. Be generous with it when you slap it all over there. Also, I like to take and here's where it's all going to go back into. If you can see down inside there, take it and run your finger in there, be sure there's no metal, any calcium and mineral buildup in there. And at that point there, you're just gonna, once it's good and clean, and I've already done that, just take the cartridge and just slide it right back in there. You might want to rotate it or wiggle it just a little bit as you're going in there with it. See how easy it slides in? And then at that point there, you're going to run it in, and you're going to put it all back together just like you had it. So let me run it in. I'll show you what the completed looks like. Okay, I went ahead and put the cartridge back in. Again, I put a rag around here because you don't want to lose that cotter pin when you put it in there. So if you see that little cotter pin right there, that has to go back in just like it came in. So push it all in there and then start putting it back together like we found it. And I'll start doing that now. Okay, here's another shot what it looks like. This all kind of come out together. So that goes over there. And the main reason this is on there, guys, is that keeps that pin from coming out under pressure. So always be sure you put this part here back in there. Otherwise, that pin that holds the whole valve assembly can come up. Okay, guys, remember this is the part here that started all the problems. I could not get it out and I ended up having to drill it out to get the handle off of it. This is the new replacement piece I ordered off of Amazon for moen faucets. Like I said, 10 bucks delivered. I think it's available on Prime. I'll put that back on now. Okay, when you order the new little black plastic piece, it comes with a new screw. If you'll notice, it has this yellow stuff on it. That's a Loctite, and if you ever pull these things off and just reuse the other one, I advise putting a little bit of blue Loctite on it to help hold it in there. Because once you get it behind the shower handle, you have to pull the whole handle off to get in there and tighten that thing up. So let me tighten that in place now. Okay, we're back to what my original problem was. You can see down in there, that's where the bolt had broken off on there. And now I'm going to have to get back in there. I let it set with some penetrating oil. I'm going to try to get down there with a pair of needle nose pliers and see if I can get that out. Okay, guys, I'm back. Hey, here's that small, let's see if I can get in there. Here's that small screw that's broke loose on me. I don't know if you can see it or not, doing on the camera view, but I'm having a hard time getting it out of there. Try to drill out a bigger hole here where I can access it. Put a bunch of heat on it, put penetrating oil. Hope I can get it out. So I'm running out of time on my camera, so I may very well end up having to try to find this whole handle to replace it. But I'll be back to you soon. I'll keep you updated. Okay, guys, I'm back. Hey, here's the handle that I originally had the problems with, and I broke the bolt off in that thing. And once again, if I had used a little bit of penetrating oil before I tried to take that off, it would have saved me a lot of worries. But nonetheless, guys, I worked on that a lot today, and there's not a lot of the bolt left. I tried heating it, penetrating oil, tried a Dremel tool, needle nose pliers, everything under the book. Tried to make that hole there a little bit bigger so I could get in there with the tool, but no luck, guys. So I guess what I'm going to do at this point here is I have another handle just like this of these same series in my kids' bathroom. So I'm probably just going to rob it off of my kids' bathroom and put a cheap replacement on there, as more of the crystal handles or something along those lines. So anyways, I'm going to put this on there here in a few minutes. So give me a few seconds to get back into my shower and I'll put it on there. Okay, guys, I'm back in the bathroom. A little quick refresher. My original problem was I had this bolt here that broke off. You can see it broke off, and the handle here, which now you can pretty much see that there's no getting it out. I'm gonna have to swap it out with something. So what I did is I went to my kids' bathroom and took theirs off, and that's what it looks like when it's in good shape right there. So anyways, let me put that on real quick and show you. That's the finished product after we got replaced this, because I had to drill all that out to get it off. So I'm going to put that on. Maybe. I've already turned the water on in my shower, so you can hear the water turn on when I put the bolt on. So just give me 1 second. Okay, guys, we're back. I started those bolts back in there. You can see little Allen screw. This is where all my problems started. So remember, if you ever decide to take this out again, to put you a little bit of penetrating oil in there, loosen it up before you break it off. So, hey guys, I'm going to finish tightening this up in a minute, but it's kind of in there for now. You can see it's working good. Leak has stopped, making progress. So ought to be in good shape. Anyways, hey guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys checking me out, and hope this helps somebody down the road. So remember to give me a couple of thumbs up down there. Remember, penetrating oil, the start of all this, can save me some money, because I think this handle is going to cost me probably over $50 if I ever find a replacement. So anyways, good luck.